Next. Video capture now. Is enough.
Good evening. Am I audible to everyone? Devi, good evening. Kumar, good evening. Kiran, good evening. Am I audible to everyone? Kalyan, good evening. Aparna, good evening. Yes. Am I audible to everyone? Yes, Lakshmi, good evening everybody. Am I audible to everyone? Jaswant, good evening. Yeah. Am I audible to everyone? Rani, good evening. Yes, good evening everybody. So what we discussed yesterday? Yes, good evening everybody. What we discussed yesterday? What we discussed yesterday, please respond. Yesterday I was discussing with you about what we saw yesterday, please respond. Yesterday I was discussing, I just gave an introduction to Python. And what are all the two different types of programming languages? Yesterday I was discussing with you about programming language And what are all the two different types of programming processes? Am I audible to you? So I am just shouting, am I audible to everyone? Yesterday I was discussing with you about two different types of programming processes. What are the two different types of programming processes? Please respond. What are all the two different types of programming processes? Please respond. What are all the two different types of programming processes? Compiler and interpreter. What is the major difference between an interpreter and a compiler? What is the major difference between the interpreter and a compiler? Please respond. What is the major difference between the interpreter and a compiler? Yes, I was discussing with you about two different types of programming processes. What is the major difference between an interpreter and a compiler? What is the major difference between an interpreter and a compiler? And then what are all the different applications of Python? Yesterday I was discussing with you about different applications of Python. Yes, interpreter takes each and every line of code and it is going to check for some errors. Whereas what is the role of a compiler? Please respond. What is the role of a compiler? So everything is clear. So yesterday I discussed with you about interpreter and compiler. So everything is clear, whatever we saw yesterday. And then I stopped with how to use Jupyter Notebook and Python idle. So everything is clear, whatever we discussed yesterday. Yes. Today I am going to continue. So what are all the other applications of Python, and then I am going to discuss in detail with you about what are all the other things that can be done using this Python. So Python can be used in GUI applications, scientific applications. So all these are the different applications of Python language: business applications, programming, education, industry, web development, database access, games, 3D games. So all these are the different applications of Python, business applications. Clear with this? So for example, in education industry, so why Python is growing at a very fast rate? It is one of the most popularly used language for doing any kind of machine learning development. AI, ML task, Python is one popularly used language for doing any kind of machine learning development. For example, I want to evaluate the performance of students, how well a student has performed. So he is a bright student or a dull student, so I want to evaluate the performance of a student in education industry. So Python can be used in education sector, students performance analysis. I want to analyze the performance of students. It is used in gaming. So yesterday I was discussing with you about different applications of Python. Network programming, GUI applications, web development. So all these are the different applications of Python language. So yesterday with that I just stopped. What is the use of interpreter, Maya Python, movie creation tool, what are all the different applications of Python? Today I am going to continue with Python language. So what do you mean by a data type? So data types are nothing but, so what type of value a variable can hold? So whenever I want to do any kind of development, for example, as I was telling you, right, so Python is one popularly used language for doing any kind of predictive analytics. You can take up any real world problem. So what do you mean by machine learning or artificial intelligence? You can take up any real world problems. So I am going to predict something what is going to happen in the future. So I am going to use Python language. So variables, the world is evolving around data. In whichever sector you go, you can go for banking industry, or you can go for education industry, you can go for any types of industries, hospitals. So the world is evolving around data. So one important thing is that I need to collect the data, I have to analyze the data, and I am going to come up with some important prediction result, what is going to happen in the future. Clear with this? So what do you mean by a data type? So I have different data types. So all these are the different data types. I can go for an integer data type. I can go for a floating point type. I can go for a string data type or a character constant. So all these are the different data types available in Python. So based on my requirement, for example, I want to store the age of a student. So I can go for an integer data type. Or I want to store the marks, so I can go for a floating point type, string type, or a character constant. So all these are the different data types available in Python language. So based on my requirement, I can go for any of these data types. I can go for an integer data type. I can go for a floating point type. For example, if I want to store some decimal numbers, I can go for a floating point type. Or I can go for a string data type. It is enclosed within double quotes. I can go for a string data type, or I can go for a character constant. It is enclosed within single quotes. So based on my requirement, for example, if I want to store the name of an employee or a name of a patient, so based on my requirement, I can go for different data types available in Python language. So character constant, it is enclosed within single quotes. I will just show you a simple example of this. So what are the different data types available in Python language? Say for example, A equal to 10, B equal to 20.2, C equal to kilo. So I am storing string values. D equal to, so I am just storing some letter or alphabet. For example, I am just printing something. So if I want to print some integer values, or if I want to print the string values, so I am just printing something. So this is the corresponding syntax. So first, for doing any kind of, for example, I am collecting some data. So I am collecting some patient records, or I am collecting some student records. So for example, I want to store the marks obtained by the students in different departments. So I am going to use different variables. They are used to hold the student marks. Or if I want to store the employee records, employee ID or the student ID. So I am using different variables. For example, I can store some integer values, I can store some floating point numbers, or if I want to store some string values, it is enclosed within double quotes. Or if I want to store some character constant, it is enclosed within single quotes. Clear with this? So all these are the different data types available in Python language. So based on my requirement, I can go for different data types available in Python language. Next, I am going to discuss with you about conversion function. So whenever I am going to collect the data, so whatever records I want to store, so I need some data type. So whether I want to hold some, whether the variable should hold some whole numbers, integer values, or it should hold some floating point, decimal point numbers, or it should hold some string values. It should be enclosed within double quotes, or it should contain some character constant. It should be enclosed within single quotes. So next I am going to discuss with you about some conversion functions. So what are the different conversion functions available in Python language? So all these are the different types of conversion functions. I can go for a floating point type. So if I want to convert to integer to floating point, so I have to prepend with the corresponding data type. So whenever I am going to give feed some data to the machine learning model. So if I want to convert the data type of the argument that is being passed from one data type to another data type, I can go for different types of conversion functions available in Python language. So if you want to convert to integer data type, so I have to prepend with int keyword followed by the argument. For example, I am giving here as floating point 4.5. I have to convert this to integer. To whichever data type I need to convert, I have to prepend with the corresponding data type. For example, I want to convert this floating point number to integer number. So I have to prepend with the int keyword, integer data type. If I want to convert the whole number, integer to floating points, I have to prepend with float keyword. To whichever data type I have to convert, I have to prepend with the corresponding keyword. Clear with this? So conversion function, from the name you can just understand. So what is the use of this conversion function? If I want to convert the data type of the arguments that is being passed from one type to another data type, so I can go for this conversion function. Clear with this? So all these are the different conversion functions available in Python language. For example, if I want to convert the floating point type to integer data type, so I have to prepend with int keyword. If I want to convert the integer data type to floating point type, so I have to prepend with the float keyword. To whichever data type I have to convert, I have to prepend with the corresponding keyword followed by the argument. So this is the corresponding syntax for converting the data type of the argument from one type to another type. Let me just show you a simple example of this. For example, 4.5, this is an floating point type. If I want to convert to integer data type, so I have to prepend with the int keyword. To whichever data type I have to convert, I need to prepend with the corresponding data type. So this is a floating point type. If I have to convert to integer data type, I have to prepend with the int keyword. If I want to convert to floating point type, so I have to prepend with the float keyword. To whichever data type I have to convert, I need to prepend with the corresponding data type. For example, this is a floating point type. If I want to convert to integer data type, so I have to prepend with the int keyword. Or if I want to convert this integer data type to floating point type, so I have to prepend with the float keyword. You can see here, 12 is an integer number, it is converted to floating point, decimal point values. So whatever type of coding I want to do, so I am just typing my code in the code cell. I am going to get the output just below the input. Clear with this? So I just gave an introduction. So what are all the different data types available in Python language and what is the use of conversion function? So this is one more important concept in Python. So in whichever format I need to give my data. For example, I am having some record. So everything is stored in a CSV file, data frame. So tabular data format. If I want to convert the data type of the argument that is being passed from one data type to another data type, I can go for different types of conversion functions. So next I am going to discuss with you about variables. So what is the use of the variable? What is the role of a variable in Python? So variable is a name location. It is used to store some data in the memory. So it is used to allocate some memory. So whatever type of task I am going to perform, so first I need to store. I need a container. So I am going to store the values inside a variable. So it acts like a container, a vessel or a container. So firstly I need to initialize some values. So whatever type of development I am going to do. So you can consider any kind of data science or ML task. Whatever type of development I am going to do, so I require some variables. Clear with this? For example, number equal to 10. So I am just initializing the number with the value of 10. So the assignment operator can be used to assign value to a variable. So I am just declaring and assigning value. For example, website equal to within double quotes I am giving here as apple.com. So I want to initialize. So as I was telling you, right, you can consider some e-commerce industry, Amazon, Flipkart, or you can consider some other type of industry. So whichever industry you go, banking sector, hospital management system, so whichever type of industries you go, so firstly you require some variables, containers to hold some values. Clear with this? Till this part, whatever I am speaking, everything is clear. So for example, I am saying I am initializing some website names. So they are used to hold some values. That is the use of variables. So this is one more example. So instead of storing a single value, more than one value can be stored in a single line. You can see here, A is assigned with the value of 5, B is assigned with the value of 3.2, and C is assigned with the value of hello. Say for example, I want to store what is the employee ID, what is the name of the employee, and the age of the employee. So everything I should get in a single line. So assigning multiple values to multiple variables. So based on my requirement, whatever type of assignment I want to do. So when I am going to print within a single line, so I can get the employee ID, what is the age and the name of the employee. Clear with this? So let me just show you a simple example. For example, I am just saying A, B, C equal to, say for example, whatever is the employee ID, I am giving the employee ID and then name and the age of the employee. Name and the age of the employee. So I am giving here as A. After typing the code in the code cell, just click the run button. For example, I am just giving here as A, B and C. So I am assigning A with the value of 20. This is the employee ID. And B equal to, so what is the name of the employee? So I am just enclosing this with the double quotes. This is the corresponding name of the employee. And C equal to 45. So this is the corresponding age of the employee. So everything is assigned in a single line. So what is the ID, name and the age of the employee. Clear with this? So I can assign more than one values within a single line. You can see here. So I am printing what is the ID, name and the age of the employee. Clear with this? So assigning multiple values to multiple variables. Or I can assign same value to multiple variables. Say for example, x equal to y equal to z equal to, within double quotes I am just mentioning here as same. So I can assign same values to multiple variables. So all these are the different ways of assigning. So there is one more important concept called constant concept. So what do you mean by a constant? The value of a constant cannot be changed. Clear with this? So the constants or the value of a constant cannot be changed. For example, I am having current salary. So what is the name? So I am initializing some constants. So whenever those values should not be changed, so I can go for some constants. So there is one more important concept. So far I just gave an introduction. So what do you mean by a data type? What do you mean by a variable? And what do you mean by a constant? So next I am going to discuss with you about different types of operators available in Python. So I can go for arithmetic operators. I can go for relational operators. And there is one more type of operator. It is called as a logical operator. So what do you mean by an arithmetic operator? So in mathematics, if I want to do some arithmetic calculations, then I have to go for this arithmetic operator. For example, if I want to add two numbers, so addition operation, plus operation, subtraction. If I want to subtract one number from the other number, so I can go for this subtraction operation. And multiplication, if I want to multiply two numbers. And division operation. If I want to divide one number by the other number, modulus, exponentiation. So all these are the different types of arithmetic operators. Clear with this? So what are all the different types of arithmetic operators available in Python language? So if I want to perform some sort of mathematical calculations, I can go for different types of arithmetic operators. I will just show you a simple example of this. For example, I am just initializing A with the value of 20 and C equal to A plus B. Clear with this? So if I want to add some numbers, for example, I am just printing here as C. So whenever I am typing any code, so whatever code I am typing, whenever I am going to type any code within the code cell, just click the run button. So I will be getting the output just below the input. For example, I am just initializing A equal to 20, B equal to 30. So I can perform any type of arithmetic operation. For example, if I want to add two numbers, I am just adding A plus B. If I want to subtract one number from the other number, B minus A. So 30 minus 20, so 10 will be printed at the output. And what about the other type of arithmetic operation? For example, B by A. Clear with this? So 30 by 20. So whatever is the quotient or remainder, that will be printed at the output. So all these are the different types of arithmetics. For example, I want to do some calculation. So what is the annual salary of an employee, or in case of students' performance analysis. So I can go for different types of operators. So operators, they are used to perform some sort of operation on the operands, and I am going to get some important result. So all these are the different types of operators available in Python language. So I can go for arithmetic operators, or I can go for relational operators, and there is one more type of operator, it is called as a logical operator. So what is the use of type function? If I want to find the data type of the argument that is being passed, I can go for this type keyword. So type of whatever is the argument I am passing, I can go for this type keyword. So you can see here whatever is the type of 2. So I am just saying here, I am just using this type keyword. So whatever is the type of 2, this is a whole number value. So I am getting the corresponding result as integer data type. For example, if I am passing some floating point numbers, type of 3.3. So I am just prepending this with the type keyword and we are getting the result as floating point. So if I want to find the data type of the argument that is being passed, so I have to use this type keyword. So type of 2. So what is the type of this data type that is being passed? It is of integer data type. And type of 3.3. For example, it is of floating point type. Clear with this? All these are the important concepts you should be learning about Python. And format specifiers. So what are the different format specifiers? For example, I can go if I want to print in the integer format, so I can give here as %d format specifier. If I want to print in the floating point, so I can go for %F, %C. If I want to print some character constant, string values, I can go for different types. It specifies in whichever format I want to print my number. Accordingly, I can go for different format specifiers available in Python language. Clear with this? I am doing some calculations. So I want to print the number in integer format. So I can go for %d. So all these are the different format specifiers. In whichever format I need to print the numbers, accordingly I can go for different format specifiers available in Python language. Say for example, I am just initializing a equal to 10. A equal to within double quotes I am mentioning here as percentage small d. For example, I want to print this in integer form, so percentage of a. And I can go for different types of operators. I can go for relational operators, logical operators. So all these are the different operators available in Python language. So I can go for double equal to, not equal to, greater than equal to, less than. So if I want to make some comparison, so what is the output of this relational operator? It is going to return a boolean value of true or false. So whenever I am going to make some comparison, so based on some condition, it is going to return me a boolean value of true or false. So it is going to compare two numbers, 5 equal to 5. So I am going to compare these two values and it is going to return a boolean value of true or false. Clear with this? 5 greater than 6. So one number is greater than the other value, it is going to, if it is greater, it is going to return true, otherwise it is going to return me a boolean value of false. Clear with this? So all these are the different types of arithmetic operators available, that is relational operators. So if I want to compare the marks of two students, I want to do some comparative analysis. So based on some condition, it is going to return me a boolean value of true or false. Clear with this? So all these are the different types of relational operators available in Python language. And there is one more type of operator, it is called as a logical operator. So what do you mean by a logical operator? So if I want to check more than one condition, the first condition 5 equal to 5 and 5 equal to 6. So we have three different types of logical operator. One is called as a logical AND operator. One more is called as a logical OR operator and the third one is called as a logical NOT. So all these are the different types of logical operators available in Python language. So I am going to check, for example, 5 equal to 5, this is my first condition, and 5 equal to 6. Clear with this? So all these are the different types of logical operators available in Python language. So logical and only when both the conditions are satisfied, it is going to return me a boolean value of true, otherwise it is going to return me a boolean value of false. And 5 equal to 5, when either of the condition, the first condition or the second condition is true, it is going to return me a boolean value of true, otherwise it is going to return me a boolean value of false. Clear with this? So what are all the different types of, so I can go for a relational operator or I can go for a logical operator. Let me just show you a simple example. Say for example, I am checking two values. So 6, both these values. So only when both these values are equal, it is going to return me a boolean value of true. Otherwise, it is going to return me a boolean value of false. Clear with this? All these are the different types of relational operator. For example, I want to check 6 is greater than 8. So 6 is less than 8, so it is returning me a boolean value of false. And if I want to check more than one condition and 3 less than 7, only when both the conditions are satisfied, the first condition and the second condition are satisfied, it is going to return me a boolean value of true, otherwise it is going to return me a boolean value of false. Clear? So 4 equal to 4. The first condition is true and 3 less than 7. The second condition is also true. So it is going to return me a boolean value of true. Till this part, whatever I am speaking, everything is clear. So what are all the different types of operators. This is one important concept in Python. If you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for Advanced Python Programming Internship Program. Advanced Python, this is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate, and the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Alright, if you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for Advanced Python Programming Internship Program. Advanced Python, this is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate, and the internship users, they will be receiving the internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. So once you are going to register in this 30 days program, so you can enroll in this 2-month Advanced Python Programming and Python Full Stack program. So you can go to InstaMojo, so you will be learning how to develop a full stack website using Django and Flask framework. So whenever we are doing any kind of prediction, so how you can integrate with Django. So it is going to be a 2-month internship program. The internship cost comes around 999 rupees. So if you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for Advanced Python Programming and Python Full Stack Internship Program. Alright. So till this part, whatever I am speaking, everything is clear. So I was discussing with you about different types of operators available in Python language. So all these are the different types of operators available in Python. So based on my requirement, I can go for an arithmetic operator, or I can go for a relational operator, and there is one more type of operator, it is called as a logical operator. So all these are the different types of operators available in Python language. So next I am going to discuss with you about swapping functionality. So for example, I was discussing with you about different types of operators. Logical AND operator, logical OR operator. For example, the first condition or the second condition. I am saying one is greater than 10. When either of the condition is true, it is going to return me a boolean value of true, otherwise it is going to return me a boolean value of false. So the first condition or the second condition. So when either of the condition is true, it is going to return me a boolean value of true, otherwise it is going to return me a boolean value of false. So next I am going to discuss with you about swapping functionality. So what do you mean by this swapping? So far I was discussing, so operators is one important concept in Python. So what are all the different types of operators available in Python language? So all these are the different types of operators available in Python. So next I am going to discuss with you about swapping. For example, if I want to change the value of two numbers, I can go for this swapping variables. So firstly, I am just assigning x is assigned with the value of 10 and y is assigned with the value of 5. perform some sort of swapping functionality. So if I want to exchange these two values, so I want to interchange these two values, so I am going to do some swapping functionality. X equal to x plus y equal to x minus y, and x equal to x minus y. Clear with this? So I am performing some, so now x value becomes y and y value becomes x. So this is the complete program for swapping. Clear with this? So firstly, for doing any kind of development, so if I want to do any kind of Python coding or machine learning development, so firstly I should assign values. X is assigned with the value of 10, y is assigned with the value of 5. So x equal to 10, y equal to 5. So x equal to x plus y. So I am adding x and y, it is stored in the variable x. And y equal to x minus y. I am subtracting y from x, it is stored in the variable y. And x equal to x minus y. So after swapping, I am just giving here x equal to percentage d, y equal to percentage d, percentage of x comma y. So x equal to 10. For example, I am just saying here x equal to x plus y. So I am just printing here after swapping. Percentage of, so I am just saying, so whatever is the percentage d format specifier, I need to mention the corresponding format specifier, and then I am mentioning here percentage of x comma y. Clear with this? So in whichever format I want to specify, for example, I am mentioning here as x equal to percentage d. Clear with this? So what do you mean by the swapping functionality? So this is one important concept. So after swapping, so I am just printing the variables. So whatever is the variables, I am just printing out these variables. So x equal to percentage d and y equal to percentage d and percentage of x comma y. So in whichever format I want to print these numbers. So I was discussing with you about format specifiers. So if I want to print them in integer format, I am just mentioning here as percentage small t. Or if I want to print them in floating point numbers, or if I want to print them. So in whichever format I want to print, so I need to mention the corresponding format specifier. For example, I am just mentioning here x equal to 10, y equal to 5. I am adding x and y. So firstly x equal to x plus y, it is stored in the variable x. And y equal to x minus y. And x equal to x minus y. So after swapping, so I am just initializing this x equal to percentage d and y equal to percentage d. So in whichever format, if I want to print this in integer format or if I want to print in floating point format, in whichever format I need to print, so I need to mention the corresponding format specifier. Percentage of x comma y. Clear with this? So you can see here x value now becomes 5 and y value now becomes 10. So this is one more important functionality available in Python language. So all these are the different rules. So I was discussing with you about variables. So they are containers, they are used to hold some values. So it cannot be a reserved keyword, is. So and all these are the corresponding rules for naming the variable. It should not contain a dollar sign, underscore sign, and it cannot be a reserved keyword. So for example, I am going to discuss with reserved keyword. So far I was discussing with you about operators. So how you can do swapping. So if I want to interchange the value of two variables, how I can do so. So the next important concept in Python is the strings concept. So what do you mean by strings? It is nothing but a collection of characters. It is enclosed within double quotes. This is what is called as a strings concept in Python. Clear? For example, I am just mentioning here. So hello within double quotes plus I am leaving some empty space plus word. So this is what is called as strings concept in Python. So string concatenation, similar to adding two numbers, integer numbers. So I can use this plus operator and I can perform some concatenation on strings. So for example, I am just saying here sun. I am just mentioning here as shines. For example, I can just say here, I can just add these two values or I can just mention like this. For example, I am saying sun. So this is how I can do some string concatenation. Plus, I am leaving some empty space. Plus, I am just mentioning here as shines. Clear with this? So this is my string 1. It is enclosed within double quotes. Plus, I am leaving some space. And I am concatenating one more string. So string 1 plus string 2. So I am adding these two strings and I am getting the output just below the input. Or I can just see here, for example, I am just printing here as beautiful. Clear with this? So you can see here, if I want to add some strings, so this is my string 1, A equal to within double quotes, I am mentioning here as beautiful, and B equal to within double quotes, I am mentioning here as garden. And C equal to A plus B. So when I want to join two strings, I am going for this plus operator. So this is my string 1 and then string 2. So you can just see here, or I can give here as S1 and then S2. You can just see here, so I can perform some string operation in whichever way I want to join two strings. Clear with this? With this, I am just stopping today. If you have any doubts, you can just ask me. If you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for Advanced Python Internship Program. Advanced Python, this is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate. And the internship users, they will be receiving the internship certificate as well as the participation certificate. Alright, if you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for Advanced Python Internship Program. Advanced Python, this is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate, and the internship users, they will be receiving the internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. So if you register for 1 month internship program, you can register in this 2 month internship, advanced Python programming and Python full stack. So you will be learning how to integrate Python with Django framework. It will be a full stack end-to-end development program. If you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for this 2 month internship program, advanced Python programming and Python full stack. So with this, I am just stopping today. If you have any doubts, you can just ask me. I hope I am clear with my topics. Alright then, remaining things, you want me to show the swapping program? Yes, you can see here, this is the swapping program. Alright then, remaining things,